Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low.
Hi, Jay Fallon. Thanks for listening to the Slippery Slope. Listen, I want to watch this video together. I am going to stop it before the end, probably. There's something I think is very concerning here. Now, if you're watching this, well, I'm not sure if you're going to agree with what I think is very concerning, but I do think this is very concerning. And I think it'll be problematic in the future for different groups of people. However, this is where our media in Australia are going. I think they're pushing a narrative that, like I said, will be problematic for certain groups of people, people such as myself, I would say I'm a Christian. When I say a Christian, that is a believer, a follower in the Lord Jesus Christ, a follower of Jesus, a believer, someone who believes in the Bible from Genesis to Revelation, okay? Follows the teachings of the Bible. That's in a nutshell, okay? However, I think there's some issues. We're going to see some things coming up in the very near future that are going to be very problematic for Christians. Watch this video, and we'll discuss it at the end.
Yeah, we started investigating this story earlier this month when we got word that the Rainbow Ball in Wangaratta in northeast Victoria had been shut down right at the last minute because of concerns for the safety of those attending. It was a ball for 12 to 24-year-olds, and it was first established back in 2019. Basically,
yeah. One thing I do have to say, do you like the way this reporter brushed over this little piece of information that this ball was for 12 to 24-year-olds? Listen, you could come to a ball in Australia generally, and it would always be 18 and over, because 18 obviously in Australia is the age where you can buy alcohol, and 18 you're considered adult. So 18 and over. 18 to 24, acceptable, adults. A ball, let me put it this way. I've never, ever seen, never heard of, that I can never recall hearing of a ball that is set up where you would have 12-year-olds to 24-year-olds, not in a ball that is marketed towards heterosexual society, or people who, follow a heterosexual lifestyle. Let's put it that way. Why is it that the rainbow community feels the need to have a ball where you have 12-year-olds? If you're 18 and over, hey, you're an adult. Anyway, that's not really, but just note how that's brushed over very quickly. And obviously that's not really a problem. What's the big deal? But keep going.
basically by the LGBTIQ plus groups in the area who wanted to have a big inclusive celebration for anybody who wanted to attend. And back in 2019, it was a really tricky event for organisers to get off the ground. They had to navigate hesitant.
Yeah, it was a tricky event to get off the ground because you're including children in with adults in a ball. Like I said, the fact that it was set up by the LGBTQ community wouldn't have been a problem here in Australia, except that they're including very young children in the event. Anyway, keep going.
Councils, tricky local politics. It is a traditionally conservative area, but fast forward 4 years and it's been a huge success. The councils are now on board and helping to fund it, and this event had been a sellout. But what happened was, in the days leading up to this event, the organisers and councils started receiving really violent threats targeted at individuals from a group they say called the National Socialist Network, and this is a neo-Nazi group. Now, the council sought advice from the police, who were willing to put on extra security for the event, but ultimately the decision was taken by the council to...
This National Socialist group, it does seem to be a neo-Nazi group. From what I've seen, I don't know a lot about them. I've heard about them. When you look up their stuff, it does seem to be a neo-Nazi, a legitimate neo-Nazi group. Keep in mind, a neo-Nazi group is not a group that a Christian follower of Christ would relate to, would associate with. Okay.
Cancel it because they were more worried about rumours that people from this far-right group had actually purchased tickets, so they felt like they couldn't guarantee the safety of those attending. But in investigating this story, it's become clear that it's not an isolated incident. Multiple councils across regional and inner-city areas have been forced to shut down drag storytime events at local libraries because of an online backlash. Even surf life saving clubs in the Illawarra, south of Sydney, were recently targeted by a local conspiracy theorist who was urging his followers to hit up the clubs because they were taking part in Pride Week celebrations. The threats were of such a serious nature that the Thirroul Surf Life Saving Club, for example, actually cancelled its Nippers event one weekend because of concerns for safety. Now, New South Wales Police were notified and thankfully the threats amounted to nothing. But I think what we can see from these examples, and they're pretty recent examples, is that there certainly is an increasing trend of these events being targeted.
So if there is an uptick in this kind of activity, who then is behind it?
Yeah, well, we've spoken to experts like Lydia Khalil from the Lowy Institute, and she says there has been an uptick in activity from conspiracy theorists, far-right groups, self-described Christian rights groups.
Conspiracy theorists, far-right groups, self-described Christian rights groups, and obviously the neo-Nazis, they're the far-right groups. This is the issue that I want to talk about. There's lots of issues with this whole report. Okay, lots of issues we could get into, but bigger picture right now, this is what I see. And talk about conspiracy theorists. Okay, how is this for a conspiracy theory? Our media is pushing a narrative, and it has been doing so for probably close to, that I can think of, well, it's probably been further, but it's really been pushing it a little heavier for close to 12 months now. And it's been lumping Christians, and they might say, self-appointed Christian rights groups, but it's been lumping Christians and Christianity in with far-right conspiracy theorists, neo-Nazis. If you are an actual Christian, a follower of Christ, someone who, I won't get into it, because if you're a Christian, you know you're a Christian. You'll know what I'm talking about. The bigger issue here, I believe, and this is my own conspiracy theory, put it that way, is that Christianity will soon be outlawed. It'll be banned, I believe, in Australia, in Western society. You will be able to be a Christian as long as it's a form of Christianity that is approved of by the government. As what's happened in China, where they've rewritten the Bible, I think we will start to see more of the Bible, more of these rewritings of the Bible happening. And we'll continue to see this push, this narrative pushed by our left-leaning media that Christians are a part of the far right wing, thus they are part of or associated with and supporters of neo-Nazis. Extremely untrue. But the more Christians keep getting the word association with Christians, neo-Nazis, the more it keeps happening, the more it puts into the mind of their society that Christians, no matter what brand of Christianity you might belong to, in reality, there's only one brand of Christianity, follower of Christ. They're going to keep getting lumped in with these neo-Nazi groups. We're going to see a push against Christianity by our governments. Eventually, we're going to see more Christians being arrested. Christianity, I believe, in its true biblical form, being banned. We've already seen groups like the World Economic Forum talk about artificial intelligence rewriting the Bible, or rewriting or reforming a new religion, what Fallon Noah Harari calling, I think, a true religion, a true religion. And this will be created by AI. And I believe this all wraps in with that. Obviously, the narrative to me, which I think they're forming, is that Christianity groups are bad, Christians are bad, therefore the Bible is bad, the Bible teaches hate, the Bible should be banned, the Bible should be rewritten, the Bible should be rewritten to make us all feel better about ourselves, to condone our sin. And, oh, look, why don't we just rewrite it all together, or let's just create another religion. We'll continue to see these narratives pushed. That's where I think we're going. That's my conspiracy theory. There you go. I'm a conspiracy theorist. That's my opinion. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? I think that's where I think our media are taking us. Anyway, that's my opinion. Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope. Hey, also, someone also hit me up about the music that I play at the beginning and the end of my podcast and that. So that is me. That was taken off my album. That song there is called Bring Me Down. You can listen to my stuff on Spotify. The album that it came off was Little Black Dress. Now, obviously, that's not a Christian album, okay? I haven't always done Christian music. Most of the songs on there are, anyway, so listen, that is the album. That is mine. It was only a short album. I've taken some other albums offline. But yeah, if you do want to support me or check out my music, you can find me, J Fallon, YouTube, Spotify, iMusic, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
They just fuel a desire that will take me higher. I'm on fire because nothing's going